Temptation doesn't knock. It barges in, demanding your attention, feeding on your deepest desires, and challenging your very willpower. But what if the power to resist doesn't lie in avoiding it, but in building something far greater than your will? A resilience forged from within. A spiritual strength so unshakable that no matter how relentless the pull, you stand firm. Every day a battle rages in your mind and soul, one that most never realize is happening. Yet you can awaken to it. You can arm yourself with something more powerful than self-discipline, an unyielding spirit. The truth is, temptation is the least of your problems. The real enemy is not the urge to give in, it's the belief that you're powerless to resist. Every temptation you face, every choice to be made, is not a failure waiting to happen. It's a test, a proving ground for the warrior within you. So what does it take to build spiritual resilience? What does it mean to fortify your soul against the most dangerous force you'll ever face? This is not just a fight, it's your transformation, and it starts now. The hidden battle. Temptation is not your enemy, it's your teacher. We are often taught to view temptation as something to simply resist or avoid, a threat to our moral integrity. But in reality it serves a higher purpose. Every time we face temptation, we are standing at a crossroads, one path leading to weakness, the other to strength. The choice we make reveals who we are and who we are becoming. Temptation's power lies not in its immediate pull, but in the lesson it offers. Every temptation presents an opportunity for growth. It forces us to confront our desires, weaknesses, and values, asking us to examine the true nature of our inner being. When we give in, we learn where our faith and discipline are lacking. When we resist, we learn about our resilience, our capacity for self-control, and our ability to stay true to our deeper purpose. The battle against temptation is not just a struggle of willpower. It is a revelation of who we are at our core. Each temptation, whether it's an urge for comfort, an impulsive desire, or an escape from discomfort, reveals a gap, a place where we need to develop spiritually, emotionally, or mentally. By understanding this, we stop seeing temptation as an enemy that must be crushed, and start seeing it as a teacher that must be understood. Consider the spiritual giants throughout history. Their greatness was not a result of avoiding temptation. It was forged through the fires of overcoming it. Think of C.S.LEWIS, who faced endless temptations in his own struggles with faith and desire, yet emerged with deep wisdom on the human condition. Or consider the biblical figure of Jesus, who, despite being the Son of God, was tested with temptations that shaped his character and mission. These figures did not run from their temptations. They learned from them. Temptation teaches us that resistance is not about fighting the temptation itself, but about fortifying the soul. It encourages us to dig deeper into our beliefs, to clarify our values, and to refine our inner strength. With each temptation, we learn a little more about our true selves and our spiritual journey. Rather than fearing temptation, we must learn to embrace it as a tool that when used wisely can sharpen and mold us into stronger, more resilient individuals. The illusion of comfort. Why you crave the easy way out. Comfort is an illusion. We crave it because it promises safety, peace, and relief from the relentless demands of life. It lures us with the false promise that if we just take the easier route, life will be less painful, more fulfilling. But comfort doesn't bring freedom. It traps us. It numbs the soul and dulls the spirit, blinding us to the power we already possess. When we choose comfort over challenge, we surrender control. We allow our desires and habits to dictate our actions, rather than our higher purpose. Whether it's staying in a toxic relationship for fear of being alone, indulging in fleeting pleasures like food or entertainment to escape emotional pain, or resisting hard work because it's uncomfortable, we trade long-term growth for temporary satisfaction. In doing so, we become slaves to our own cravings. But comfort is a thief. It steals your potential. It makes you complacent and weakens your ability to endure hardship. It whispers that you deserve the easy way out. But in doing so, it strips you of the very resilience that can shape your character. The most powerful people in history didn't build their strength by staying comfortable. They sought growth in discomfort, knowing that real power is born in adversity. When you constantly seek comfort, you're avoiding the very lessons that shape your spiritual and mental fortitude. Real growth happens in the struggle, in the moments of challenge when you decide not to give in but to rise. Every time you choose the easy way, you're sacrificing an opportunity to become a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. The truth is, comfort keeps you stagnant. It convinces you that your fears are bigger than your dreams. It whispers that avoiding pain is the way to live, that it only leads to a shallow existence. In reality, it's discomfort, the fire that burns away your weaknesses, that forges strength, wisdom, and courage. If you want to build spiritual resilience, you must embrace discomfort. Accept that growth comes through struggle. Stop choosing the easy way, because that path leads to mediocrity. Instead, choose the harder road, the one that challenges you to stretch your limits and tap into the strength you've yet to uncover. In discomfort, you'll find your true power. 3. The enemy within. Understanding the power of temptation and your role in the struggle. A temptation is not an external enemy. The greatest enemy lies within you, in your desires, your weaknesses, and your ability to be manipulated by your own emotions. It's easy to blame external forces, the people around you, the media, or even society itself. But the truth is, temptation feeds off your internal struggles. It knows your weaknesses, your moments of doubt, and the deep cravings buried within you. It works by distorting your desires, using them as weapons against your spiritual growth. Temptation thrives where self-control falters and where you lose sight of your true purpose. This is where your role in the struggle becomes critical. Understanding that temptation isn't just a random event, but an ongoing battle within your mind, is the first step in defeating it. The struggle is not about avoiding temptation, it's about controlling how you respond to it. Temptation comes in many forms: lust, anger, pride, greed, even apathy. Each of these pulls at a different part of your being, aiming to weaken your resolve and distract you from the life you're meant to live. It will whisper lies, that you're weak, that this moment of indulgence won't matter, that it's just a temporary escape from the pressure of life. What many fail to realize is that each act of submission to temptation strengthens its grip. The more you give in, the easier it becomes to justify your actions. Over time, you lose sight of what you're really fighting for, the truth of who you are and what you're meant to become. You fall into a cycle, unable to break free. This is the power of temptation, its ability to warp your perception and reshape your reality. But this is not the end. The key is to shift the narrative. Temptation is not a mark of failure, it's a challenge to build resilience. Every time you face temptation, you're given a choice: to grow stronger or to give in. Your role in the struggle is to reclaim your power over your desires, to not let them define you. Strength comes when you confront temptation with awareness and courage, recognizing that the power to resist lies not in avoiding the battle, but in understanding it and choosing your response wisely. In this way, you control the struggle, not the other way around. The awakening moment, realizing the power you hold within. It's the revelation that despite your struggles, your inner strength is not something to be earned or found elsewhere. It's a part of who you are, buried beneath the doubts, the insecurities, and the lies you've been told. For most of us, the fight against temptation feels like a battle where we are constantly on the defensive. We view ourselves as powerless victims, overwhelmed by urges, desires, or circumstances beyond our control. This belief, however, is the very thing that keeps us bound in chains. The truth is, the moment you awaken to your inner power, everything changes. You stop seeing yourself as someone who is weak, someone who is bound to fall. Instead, you recognize that you have been equipped with everything you need to win. This awakening is not a grand, dramatic shift. It's a quiet understanding that your ability to resist lies in your mindset, in the belief that you are more than capable. The mind has a powerful influence over the body, over decisions, and even over the forces that seem to control your life. Once you align your thoughts with the reality that you possess the strength to stand firm, temptation loses its grip on you. You no longer need to fight temptation from a place of desperation, but from a place of empowerment. This realization also shifts your perspective on the temptations you face. Instead of seeing them as enemies, you begin to view them as teachers. They are challenges. Yes, but challenges that serve to refine and strengthen your spirit. Every time you choose to rise above, you add to your spiritual armor, and you become more than you were before. Your inner power is not a fleeting feeling or a temporary surge of adrenaline. It's a steady, quiet force that lies deep within, waiting to be tapped into. The first step toward building spiritual resilience is recognizing that this power has always been yours. It's not about fighting a losing battle or waiting for external forces to change. It's about embracing the fact that you are equipped to handle whatever comes your way. You are more than capable, and the power to overcome is yours, already inside you, ready to awaken. If you're ready to break free from the chains of lust and transform your life spiritually, then it's time to discover the 7 biblical secrets to destroy lust. This powerful ebook reveals the timeless wisdom and strategies found in Scripture that can help you overcome the strongest temptations and build lasting resilience. Don't let lust control your life any longer. Take the first step towards spiritual freedom today. Click the link in the video description to grab your copy now and start your journey towards victory and inner strength. Your transformation starts here. 5. Building resilience. The struggle is your strength. Building spiritual resilience is not about avoiding struggle. It's about understanding that the struggle itself is what shapes your strength. Resilience is forged through hardship. It is not a gift that arrives without challenge, but rather a muscle that must be worked, stretched and tested. The more you face, the stronger you become. Every temptation you encounter, every obstacle you overcome, is an opportunity to build your spiritual fortitude. The first thing to understand is that struggle isn't a sign of failure, it's a sign of growth. Temptation, pain, and hardship reveal your weaknesses. Yes, but they also highlight your potential for growth. When you confront your struggles head-on, you begin to discover a well of inner strength you may never have known existed. The more you endure, the more you realize that your spirit is capable of far more than you ever thought possible. When faced with a trial, most of us instinctively want to escape it, to find the easiest path out. But that's where many falter. It's in the moments of resistance, the moments when you choose not to give in, that spiritual resilience is built. It's about building a mindset that embraces discomfort, knowing that discomfort is the crucible where your strength is shaped. Resilience doesn't just come from enduring, it comes from learning how to transform pain into power. Every time you face a temptation and choose to rise above it, you are becoming more than you were before. You are strengthening your spirit and fortifying your resolve. Each battle is a lesson in how to manage your emotions, thoughts, and desires, turning them from liabilities into sources of power. This is where discipline comes into play. Discipline isn't just about self-control, it's about aligning yourself with a higher purpose. A purpose that is far greater than the temporary satisfaction that temptation offers. When you're disciplined, you don't merely react to temptation, you anticipate it, and you're ready to face it with conviction. You understand that every struggle is part of your spiritual training, molding you into the warrior you're meant to become. In the end, resilience is not just about surviving the storm, it's about using the storm to become stronger. Each struggle you face is not a setback, but a setup for greater spiritual strength. You were not created to shrink away from challenges, but to rise above them. The more you endure, the stronger you become, and the more power you gain in your journey towards spiritual victory. Your mind is not just a tool for processing information, it is the architect of your destiny. What you think shapes who you are, and who you are shapes the life you live. The moment you understand this truth, everything changes. Every temptation begins with a thought. Temptation doesn't appear out of nowhere. It first enters your mind as a subtle suggestion, a fleeting image, or an urge. How you respond to that thought determines whether it gains control over you or whether you regain control over it. The mind is the battleground. If you can win there, you can win in life. The Bible tells us that as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. Your thoughts form the foundation of your identity, and that identity influences every decision you make. This means that if your thoughts are constantly filled with doubt, insecurity, and negativity, they will manifest in your life as failures, fears, and destructive patterns. But if you train your mind to focus on positive, empowering, and spiritually grounded thoughts, you begin to shape a future that aligns with your highest purpose. Your thoughts are the seeds of your actions. When you think victorious thoughts, you act with confidence and courage. When you think defeated thoughts, you hesitate and retreat. It's not just about willpower, it's about alignment. If you want to overcome temptation, you have to change how you think about it. Don't view temptation as an insurmountable mountain. See it as a test to strengthen your resolve. Instead of fearing temptation, transform your mind to see it as an opportunity to grow spiritually. The mind is malleable, and with consistent practice, you can reprogram it to act in alignment with your higher values and spiritual goals. One of the most powerful tools to harness the power of your thoughts is affirmations. Repeating empowering statements daily trains your subconscious mind to accept new beliefs and behaviors. Scriptures, affirmations, and meditations all help center your mind on your divine purpose, aligning your thoughts with God's truth rather than the lies of temptation. In short, the power of thought is the starting point for everything. If you can control your mind, you control your life. If you can transform your thoughts, you can transform your destiny. The mind is the key to spiritual resilience. Guard it, train it, and use it to build the life you were always meant to live. 7. Faith and spiritual defense. Anchoring yourself in unshakable belief. Faith is the foundation of spiritual resilience, and it is the key to anchoring yourself in an unshakable belief that can withstand the strongest temptations. Without faith, every battle feels impossible. Temptations will seem overwhelming, and you'll constantly question whether you're strong enough to resist. But when your faith is firmly rooted in something greater than yourself, you can face any challenge with confidence and peace. The concept of spiritual defense begins with understanding that faith is not just a passive belief, it's an active, living force that strengthens you in the face of adversity. Faith is like a shield that protects your heart and mind from the lies and distractions of temptation. When your belief in God and His promises is solid, no temptation can take hold of you for long. The enemy can try to deceive you, to pull you away from your true purpose, but your faith serves as a barrier that constantly brings you back to your center. To build this spiritual defense, you must make faith a daily practice, not just something you turn to in times of crisis. It requires constant reinforcement through prayer, scripture, and reflection. The more you immerse yourself in God's word, the stronger your belief becomes. The more you remind yourself of His promises, the more you are grounded in the truth that He is greater than any temptation you face. Another crucial element of building spiritual defense is the understanding that doubt will come. It's not about avoiding it, but learning to overcome it. Doubts, fears, and questions are part of the spiritual journey. However, when you hold steadfast to the knowledge that God's truth is unchanging, those doubts lose their power. You may face moments of weakness, but your faith will carry you through. This is the true power of belief, not that you won't face struggles, but that you will rise above them. Anchoring yourself in faith is about seeing temptation for what it truly is, a challenge, not a defeat. With God's strength, you can resist and overcome. By building a strong spiritual defense, you protect your soul from being swayed by fleeting desires. The more you fortify your belief in God, the less room there is for temptation to take root. Faith becomes not just a tool, but a way of life, one that keeps you grounded, secure, and unshakable in the face of temptation. Victory over temptation is not just about resisting urges or avoiding sin. It's about claiming the divine purpose for your life that transcends the temporary battles you face. Temptation is a constant force, always trying to derail your progress. But true victory lies in recognizing that each challenge is an opportunity for growth, refinement, and fulfillment of your higher calling. When you overcome temptation, you don't just win a battle, you win a piece of your soul back. And with each victory, you draw closer to the person you were always meant to be. Every time you resist the pull of temptation, you reaffirm your commitment to something greater, your divine purpose. This purpose is not just a vague goal or distant dream. It is the very reason you exist. It is the driving force that guides your decisions, shapes your character, and leads you toward true fulfillment. Understanding this makes victory more than just an act of willpower. It becomes a manifestation of your deeper purpose. Temptation no longer has the power to control you, because you recognize that giving in would not only hinder your growth, but also prevent you from stepping into the fullness of who you were created to be. In essence, each time you overcome temptation, you are aligning yourself more closely with your divine destiny. But this victory isn't achieved through your strength alone. It is found through faith in the strength that comes from God. When you rely on Him, acknowledging that your victory over temptation is His work in you, you empower yourself in ways that go beyond human capacity. Your resilience becomes a testimony to His grace and power. As you continue to overcome temptation, you begin to see your purpose unfold in ways you never imagined. You discover a deeper sense of peace, purpose, and passion in your daily life, knowing that you are living in alignment with the divine will. Victory in this sense is not just the end of a struggle. It is the beginning of a new, empowered life, one in which you are free to pursue your true calling with unwavering confidence. Overcoming temptation is not just about defeating the enemy. It's about claiming the victory that has already been promised to you. Your divine purpose is yours to embrace. The path to victory is yours to walk. Step into. The journey to spiritual resilience is not an easy one, but it is a necessary one. Every day you are faced with the temptation to compromise your values, to succumb to fleeting desires, and to allow distractions to pull you away from your higher purpose. But what you must remember is that each time you resist, Each time you stand firm, you are not just fighting a battle, you are transforming into the person you were always meant to become. The strength to overcome temptation is already within. It's about awakening to that power, recognizing your purpose, and building the resilience that will carry you through every challenge life throws your way. You are not powerless. The battles you face may seem overwhelming at times, but they are opportunities for growth. Each temptation is a test, not of your weakness, but of your faith and determination. And with each victory, you not only grow stronger spiritually, but you align yourself more closely with the life you are meant to live. This is the path to true freedom, a life not controlled by temptation, but empowered by the strength to rise above it. If you're ready to take the next step in your journey, I want to invite you to dive deeper into the practical and spiritual tools that can help you destroy lust and build lasting spiritual resilience. My ebook 7 Biblical Secrets to Destroy Lust Before It Destroys You offers powerful scriptural insights and actionable steps to help you break free from the chains of temptation and step into the freedom and purpose God has intended for you. Don't let lust control your life any longer. You have the power to overcome it, and it starts today. Click the link in the video description to get your copy of the ebook now. Start applying these biblical secrets and begin walking the path of victory. Your transformation begins here.